men's mental health? Because this is something you're passionate about, right?
Yeah. Extremely. So I do a podcast called Man Baggage, which I try to occupy an area. I'm not saying anything against the other areas. My area is less important, but essential. So a lot of this brilliant work going on at the moment about getting men talking, getting men emotionally literate. I know you're in this area yourself. Getting men sharing. If your mate's gone quiet, check in once, check in twice. Check in till he tells you to fuck off. Because if he's going to top himself, him telling you to fuck off is the least of your worries.
Yeah.
All of those things. But there is a significant number of Gary, Daves, Lees and Trevors who get left behind because they don't want to be emotionally literate. They don't want to put a jumper on and a digestive and share. They can't get out of their heads.
And that was me.
You're never going to reach them.
Yeah.
So I do believe humour serves a different role in men. You might think this is sexist and binary or whatever. All I'm telling you is men kill themselves 7 times more than women.
Yeah.
As we understand.
And you've never been a woman, so
No,
it's hard. People ask me, why do you coach men? I was like, I've never been a woman.
Yeah.
I work with women now, but I find it harder because I've never been a woman.
And it's just my bias. I've had a lot of results in life where all the other blokes in my group haven't had a mate to talk. Like,
well, you're from a masculine upbringing as well, right? Your dad.
Jack's not talking. I'll get a result because I fucked about for 3 minutes first.
Yes.
Oh, your wife's left you. Hey, do you want me to look up a brass? Like take the piss out of him for 20 minutes, and he's opened up to me an hour later.
Yeah.
There's clearly some men that need humour as a sort of lube before you enter their heads with your words.
All right, I'll read. I'm allowed to say I'll read because Russell is probably going to say it. We are talking shit today with Mr. Russell Kane.
Hello.
Mate, I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for joining me.
It's been a long time coming.
I know. Well, I'm so busy. I thought if you don't come to my gaff, it's never going to happen.
It's not going to get done.
So I don't live in London anymore. So we're underneath a recreation of Hyde Park by Pissarro, a famous impressionist painting. And some art student copied it stroke for stroke. The real one's probably worth tens of millions. But it's actually the same. Each stroke, even though like the little dude's hat is the same.
Well, there we go. I never thought I'd be doing a podcast in front of a painting.
Yeah.
Like that, especially. I feel like I've gone up in the world already, Russell.
It's great. If you have a few mushrooms, they all start to move.
Well, let's stay here. Have you had mushrooms before?
In a past.
And what did you think of it?
They were great. They were shiitake. They didn't do anything.
Shiitake mushrooms. Shiitake. Russell, listen.
I did shiitake with Paul Mort.
Well, I'm a fun kind of guy, and I'm a fun guy.
Oh, wow.
That's a dad joke. Yeah. Russell, so I did actually have an opening question, but I wanted to ask you, because you're a very busy guy, what's the most challenging part of what you do?
Since Min has been born, probably the current stage she's at. Since she passed about 4.5, 5 years old, she's needed me more. So the bit at the beginning, when it's like basically a milk slug, milk in one end, shit out the other, I was more involved than a lot of blokes. I loved all the nappies and the charts and the sleep. But at the end of the day, if I disappeared for 5 nights, it's just it's like a 90s raver, like on MDMA.
Yeah.
As long as you give them their milk, they just gurn on the floor. They don't even know you're there.
Yeah.
As she got to 18 months, the bond and the love that women describe kicked in. So it started to become difficult for me to leave her, but I was able to manage that because I love my work. Now she doesn't want me to leave her. That's harder to deal with. Daddy, go away, do one less gig and all that. I'm like, am I doing too many gigs? Yeah. So the hardest part at the moment, unless I'm lucky enough to be doing a gig local like today where I can still do story time, is just saying goodbye to her. And she's like, how many sleeps are you going to be away for? Because she doesn't understand days yet. Yeah. Away for 3 sleeps. And seeing her cry, and I'm like, oh shit. That's the hardest part of my entire life. Yeah.
And she hasn't even got to that stage where she's purposefully making you feel guilty.
No,
my kids are both at that age.
No, it's the real deal. And I think when she's a bit older, it'll be easier. When she's 9, she'll have that rational part of her brain.
Dad's got to go make cheese.
Understand. It's a really weird age, 6. There's still plenty of baby in there. I still need to scoop her up when she's hurt herself and hold her like a baby. She can fall asleep in my arms. Yeah. She's scared of the dark. But there's a little girl, and it's like a Frankenstein of both. Yeah. It's really tough.
Yeah. So talk to me about this, because I'm always fascinated. I'm always complaining about being busy until I look at what you're doing. Like, what's that? How do you fucking keep that up?
I love what I'm doing. It's like saying to a fat person, how do you keep eating cake? It's like, I fucking love cake at the end of the day.
I do actually love cake.
Yeah, but so it's, I suppose you could call me addicted to it. I absolutely love stand-up to the point that when I finish this tour, which I will in April, and there'll be a 2-year gap, I do unpaid gigs gigs with no stage, gigs with no lights, to challenge myself to go back to, you know, when Rocky 1, when he was punching meat, he had to punch meat in the fridge because he didn't have a gym. I stay punching meat. I don't believe in, there's a plush gig at the Lowry. Do you mind if I go on in the middle and do 10 minutes? The audience, what a surprise, we've got Russell. I don't do any of that. I want to go on Frog and Bucket on a Thursday night in the middle of the new act. I don't want anyone to know I'm coming.
Oh, fucking
I like
hell.
to be unlisted. I want no allies in the audience. If you don't put weight on the bar, how are you going to grow a gun?
Mate, that's fucking cool. So you can keep up your level of energy because you love it.
Because it's because of I love it, and then I clearly love making podcasts and doing things like this. I enjoy them. I'm not here today. I'm not being paid, am I?
No.
Not being paid.
No.
I'm here purely for the pleasure.
I mean, I'm drinking your fucking posh water. Proper posh water, that.
I had to check then. But I mean, obviously I love money. I absolutely love it. I come from Essex. I'm working class council estate. I love making money. Yeah. Of course I do. But my primary reason for stand-up, for making Evil Genius on Radio 4, for doing the Channel 4 show I've done today, is the pleasure of creating laughter and engaging people. Yeah. I'm addicted to it, like a crackhead's addicted to crack.
Has it always been like that? Since you were a kid? Must have been.
Since my first gig?
Since you were a kid, have you always been addicted to making people laugh? Have you loved it? It was more
natural and instinctive. I didn't know it wasn't a thing I was doing.
You weren't trying to make people laugh.
Someone the other day said to me, who was it? Someone quite senior in the business. Aren't you exhausted? Always being on. It's a documentary I'm making for Channel 4.
Oh, the wanking in a...
Yeah, I'm making a fertility documentary for Channel 4, and the doctor from Embarrassing Bodies is Dr. Adnan. Sorry, I've forgotten your surname. And he was like, "You must be exhausted always being on." I'm like, "I'm not on. Well, I'm not different in the kitchen with Lindsay. This is me."
Yeah.
So it wasn't a thing I was doing. I just was the mental funny one in the group. I've just found a way to monetize my personality.
Yeah. Yeah, sick. So you never get... Do you ever get days when you... Because I haven't seen it. And do you ever get days when you just fucking can't be arsed?
I don't get days where I can't be asked. I get a lot of days where I'm fucked.
Yeah. What do you do?
I'm literally can be like... I'm not trying to be offensive here. Like looks like someone's pushed Stephen Hawking out his chair, tired on the floor. Backstage, I'll sleep on a concrete floor. I
saw that the other day.
No pillow, no cover, and I'll go out. You know when you see like a cartoon dropped out of a building, splat, I'll sleep like that for 15 minutes and I'll come out of it like, let's fucking slay. So I no matter how bad I am, I had food poisoning the other week, like at a fever, calling out to my that dad who wasn't there, temperature through the roof.
Really?
Do I need to go to hospital? Don't I? That was at 5 a.m. 8 a.m. I went and recorded an audio book, and then I went and did a gig. It's just the work seems to pull me out of the well that I'm in. The genuine... the joy, it's like a calling. It's like it's closer to religion. I don't understand people that believe in God. You can't will faith, can you? I can't make myself believe in God. I wish I believed in God, but that you've got to look at it like that, like a calling, like something deeper that just draws me.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. It's what you're supposed to be doing.
It's like drawing air.
Yeah.
It's like, are you ever too fucked to brush your teeth? Never. And all the fucking states I've been in Ibiza, the dance floors I've crawled off, I always brush my teeth before I fall asleep. The idea of not doing it, it's like that.
That's mad.
I have to do it.
How was then, and I can't believe I'm talking about this, how was lockdown for you then? Because for somebody that's addicted to being on stage and making people laugh, that must have been challenging for you.
March the 26th, I think it was, 2020 lockdown. That was challenging. Challenging day. I sat to Lindsay. I was like, what are we going to do? You think about money as well, because at the time it was like a talk of like it's a World War II event. It could last 5 years. No one from a working class background has 5 years savings. I'm like rich as a lord. Then I buy a watch. Then I go on holiday. Then I've got to do another tour. I'm just a fucking bellend like everyone else. The only thing I've done sensibly is my house. So I shat myself. March 27th. Woke up. Did my first free gig online. So it was about 14 hours of despair. The next day, I thought, Spotify model, do your shit for free online and hope, like an investor at a casino, like the guy who started WeWork, just kept getting more and more in debt. I thought if I push myself for free in cultural debt, hopefully when
your profile...
Yeah, and also for the joy of doing it. I'm still addicted to the joy of doing it.
Yes.
So initially it started with lame like Facebook Lives, and then the Zoom technology came out, and then Zoom gigs, and eventually, as soon as summer 2020, I'm online doing corporate work. You know, there were workers from home. we've got a comedian to take the mick out of the boss today. Then I was doing online shows. Then the Steph thing started, which was in studio, Steph's Packed Lunch. And people forget, it was 2 years. No, by June 2020, outdoor distanced gigs had started. As long as you were sat 2 meters apart outdoor. I wasn't being
And not
paid.
dancing.
I wasn't being paid.
Yeah.
Couldn't earn money. But it was a sense of doing something.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just continued. Basically.
Is that when you started caning it? In lockdown? Or did you start that before?
Pure luck that I started it before.
Was it?
Pure luck, yeah. Started 2017. This Spotify idea of stand-up, I call it, is what if you just did your stuff for free, dropped it online and see what happened. Yeah. Now, the reason no stand-ups did that before, and I mean, I can't think of many doing it now even, is you save your stuff up and sell it for a lot of money to Netflix or live at the Apollo.
Yes.
But if you are a type B comedian like me, someone who thinks funny, I don't write jokes down. I better write down a routine about Liz Truss.
I did notice that in Stockton where you just had a fucking post-it note on the floor.
And that was it. I'm off.
And slut dropped loads and then went off on one.
I just thought.
Said my name multiple times, by the way.
I know.
I told you about that, didn't I? That someone said to me after, were you at Russell Kane's gig and did he keep saying your name? There's one main part that I loved where you were talking about double penetration. Yeah. And then you said,
I don't remember that.
But it's not gay if your balls don't touch. Is it Paul Mort?
I don't remember that.
And then Lesley's like, have you had a threesome with Russell? I was like, no, I don't think I have. But yeah, so you're tell me about this type B comedian then.
So what I mean, the caning started, I did a series, which I love, look it up, called Stupid Man's Smartphone. Right. Where I got sent to 5 extreme places on the earth, the Arctic, the jungle, the desert, and had to survive using only my smartphone. Right, it's a really funny series. And I had a different person join me. One was a YouTuber that said, I don't understand why you sort of granddads and grandmas, analog comedians, don't do more stuff for free like us YouTubers. Oh, we would never do that because it would make you look desperate, like you can't get on TV, and also you wouldn't give me material away. And he said, no, I mean the stuff you can improvise instantly, or the B-grade stuff you didn't keep, or the stuff that's so topical.
Oh, so we would call that B-roll.
Yeah. Yeah. Or the stuff that's so topical it won't be funny tomorrow. So, for example, I've just dropped a semi-caning thing today about Liz Truss's radio interviews going wrong. Yeah. That won't be funny tomorrow. Yeah. It was just like a light bulb switched on. Yeah. So I've been practicing those. So when lockdown came, I knew how to time a video. So after an insight, you leave a gap for an imagined laugh. It's a sort of in-between timing that I practiced and learned for 3 years. Yeah. By type B comedian, I simply mean type A are the extremely successful comedians. The routines you quote, garlic bread, out. They write the
like
jokes.
Storytellers.
Or they just write really good material everyone wants to read. Have you heard that Frankie Boyle joke? Let me tell it to you. Whereas I'm just the funny mate who's got the balls to say my funny shit into a microphone. Very, very productive. I do come up with some killer routines, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But ultimately, it's like if you're thinking of a fighter, right? If you're thinking like if you're in the world of fighting, you've got someone like Tyson Fury who's just born fighting. Yes. And you've got other people who've discovered fighting and become brilliant at it. Andy Joshua. Yes. So I'm born fighting, but just out of my gob.
I love it, mate. All right. So listen, mate, the reason we kind of met through your podcast, I don't even know how that happened yet. I think it was something to do with HarperCollins or an agent or maybe a PR. But then I had you come and speak at one of our events this year. It was actually. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I'd seen you live and I thought you were fucking great, mate, even though you said my name loads and people thought we'd had a threesome. But also I'd seen you on Stephen Bartlett's podcast. Yeah. And you were like a different guy. Yeah. What was it about that podcast that made you, because you didn't tell jokes on that thing. You weren't the funny guy. You were a little bit different. Was that planned? Did he ask you a certain question? Because you went in a different, and I was like, I've got to have Russell come and speak at this event.
Well, I just will respond to whatever questions are asked to me. I'm always looking for a little lift or lightness at the end. If you get me on one, it's the same person. That intense. 5 Heathrow runways, planes landing on them, and wanting and getting to the point. It's just I would always favour one with a laugh at the end. But if you ask me about cancer, bereavement, stillbirth, male fertility, male suicide, it'll be the same energy, the same Russell. But I'm obviously not going to go dun at the end. Yes. And so Stephen asked me some serious, heavy questions. So I gave him.
And was that? I'd never seen you talk about that before, and I don't know if many people had. Was that something that was new to you? Was it like Well,
which bit? I mean,
the bit about your dad. Oh no, because you've done a stand-up about your dad.
Yeah, there's a shelf over there. Feel free to pick it up afterwards on the old
Son of a Silverback. Yeah.
That up there. That's all the award. They're all for the show about my dad. Son of a Silverback's the book about my old man.
Yeah.
And they're the
But you weren't
awards.
making jokes much in this one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, at the end of Smoke Screens and Castles, the show that bagged me, what for us is our biggest award, the Edinburgh Comedy Award, which I was lucky enough to hand out this year. What an honour to be asked back to hand it out.
Amazing.
To this year's winner, Sam Campbell. But at the end, there's no laughs at all at the end of that. The last 2 minutes, in fact, there's tears. It's the same at the current show. You've saw an early version of Essex Variant. I don't even know if it was being branded as that. I think the show might have been branded as Russell Kane Rescheduled or something.
I think it was.
Now there's the last 2 minutes again, few tears at the end, things like that.
Yeah.
So I do have that. It's called bathos, where 1 minute you're saying ball bags and the next minute you're talking about art, or the 1 minute you're laughing and the next minute I'm telling you about a bereavement or a loss, and you're like, do I laugh or cry?
What's it called?
Bathos, where you go from the sublime to the everyday.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing an observational routine about that. My dad, Dave, and he's like, by the way, he's dead. He died depressed. And you're like, and that's bathos. Very powerful when it's used on stage. You can have it in music when 1 minute you know, like Bohemian Rhapsody, brilliant use of bathos. 1 minute you're rocking out, the next minute Freddie Mercury's doing a bit of opera.
It's really interesting that, because I've never heard of this before. But in my live show, I start with a story about suicide where I'm on the edge of it, because I come out, people cheer, and then I say, how have I ended up here? And everyone starts laughing.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm on the edge of the fucking cliff
from
here.
one to the other.
And then they go dead, and then I tell a joke about taking a shit in public and getting sent to court for it. That's really interesting, though.
Yeah, like pathos, but with a buh. So yeah, I mean, I have no edit. If you ask me a question, I will answer it to the point where my most frequent thing I do is call someone afterwards. We probably shouldn't put that bit out. There's legal implications.
Yeah.
And so Stephen wanted to know. It's a bit slightly businessy podcast. So he wanted to know how I'd got to where I got to from zero several times over. So I just told him.
Yeah.
There's some people out there need to hear some hard truths.
The bit there's something that you said in there that I think I'd heard you quoted on before, was the bit about someone asked you how to make it as a comedian, and you said,
so there's one factor which is so uncomfortable, and I don't even know how advanced people would have to be on your courses before you could make people realize it's a thing. But the sad thing is, luck is a thing. Yeah, you can do all of the courses and read all of the books on that shelf, my self-help. You could do everything right, and there is still a possibility you could be unlucky. There is some of my success is right man, right time, right gig. Some of it, a small percentage.
I've had that recently, man. Fucking hell, I've opened that venue the other week and I got that because my mate filled it.
But everyone wants to think, no, it's because I manifested it and I worked
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
and I did the program. Yeah, that's helped you optimize your luck. One of my favourite books, Lindsay's just reading it at the moment, The Luck Factor by
Mate, all the guys in my program are reading it after you recommended it. Yeah.
So you can make yourself more lucky. Have you got friends? I'm so unlucky. I never have a girlfriend. I never have a job. When you run a test on them, you tell them, right, someone in this room is going to win a tenner. Just go through the pages and look for the hidden symbol of an aubergine, and whoever finds it first wins a tenner. And it's 20 pages. And on page 2, it says, it's a trick. There is no aubergine. Go run out now and claim your prize.
Yeah.
Unlucky people never spot that text.
That's
they never
interesting.
see it. Because they're, I'm so unlucky. Once you change...
Yeah.
The reason some people find money, I found 20 quid. You're always fucking finding money, Gary. Because Gary's looking for fucking money. That's why Gary's finding more money than you.
Yeah.
He's not encountering more pound coins on the pavement. That's the first factor. The second factor no one wants to hear about is hard work. Ever since that first episode of Pop Idol, whatever it was called, went out and someone stood on a spot in front of the old lineup, Pete Waterman, and went, and became a pop star overnight, that generation, everyone born after about 1998, thinks that is a thing. It is not a fucking thing. Yes, some people get scouted in the street and become Kate Moss.
Yeah.
Yes, someone do Britain's Got Talent and sell out a stand-up tour. Yes, some people win the Euro Millions. It's one in a million.
Yeah.
Don't live your life by a Euro Millions ticket.
Yeah.
Control the controllables. And unfortunately, the main thing you control is grafting until your tits fucking come off, right? Literally, if you're a boxer or a weightlifter. And the analogy I draw is go up to someone in the gym. I dare you tomorrow to go up to the ripped guy, the non-steroid ripped guy with your target body and go, how did you get an arm that big? The obvious answer is, I've given up significant portions of my life and I spent eating chicken and staring at myself in the mirror doing that. And it's really fucking boring and it takes years. Next. That's the same with any job. Barrister, doctor, comedian, podcaster, someone who wants to start an inspirational course for men that builds them into leaders. Hard, boring, missing nights out. No one wants to hear that answer.
Do you know I have a piece in my show where I talk about this, and that obviously I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, and I remember this guy John Kavanagh, he's Conor McGregor's coach. He said something like, the only difference between me and you, and I'm a black belt, you're a white belt, is that I started before you. That's it. I've done more classes than you. I kept going for longer, and I didn't stop as much as you do.
Yeah,
which is so basic.
Yeah,
but it is. You're right. No one wants to hear it.
But that said, and I have to put this caveat in, we are born. There's a difference between equality and fairness, right? Systems should be fair. I'm a big lefty. I love seeing lots of colour and lots of gender representation. I'm sorry if that pisses you off, but that is my political persuasion. That said, that's fairness. We are not born equal. I cannot will myself into being a basketball player when I'm 18 if I'm 5'10". It ain't gonna happen. I'm clearly funnier than a couple of my other mates. It made sense for me to pursue that. If you're someone that turns a room awkward, no one finds you funny no matter what you do. Practicing comedy for years is probably only get you so far. If you're dyspraxic like me, you don't really like hitting people in the face, I'm probably not best put to go on a jiu-jitsu course. Probably not for me. No matter how hard I work at it, maybe I won't get to a black belt because I'm not designed for it psychologically, whatever. So natural attribute mixed with hard work and roll the dice with luck, but you can create more rolls of the dice. This is the crucial bit of information. Just keep fucking rolling it. You
keep rolling it. I love that.
This is a cliche, but you lose 100% of the fights you don't have.
So you mentioned something there about people walking in the room being awkward and comedians.
Liz Truss.
I was talking about James Haskell actually, because I saw that you guys did a podcast. Haskell's I can't believe I'm about to say this.
I'm coaching him.
I'm going to say it. He's a friend of the show.
I
feel fucking sick saying that. How's that going?
Well, he spoke to a number of comedians, and I'm helping him a bit more significantly.
I'm buzzing that you're doing that, because he's actually a great storyteller.
Well, the thing with James, the first thing I said to him was, I don't know what's gone out or what's been broadcast from the episode that we recorded, is you can't go on, some people, when you go on stage, you've got to acknowledge what you look like.
That's the bit that he's put out.
And he has an extreme look. So it also has the advantage of making it not look too scripted. If you can duck under the stage and go, that's not designed for people with a pituitary disorder, is it? just something that's funny. So if you were gigging down south as a stand-up, I would refer to your Jordan as early doors. I wouldn't just go and go, hello, I'm Paul. You just make something of it.
I can also speak English.
Exactly.
I love it. So talk to me then, because you posted about this on your Instagram today, actually, about men's mental health, because this is something you're passionate about, right?
Yeah. Extremely. So I do a podcast called Man Baggage, which I try to occupy an area. I'm not saying anything against the other areas. My area is less important, but essential. So a lot of this brilliant work going on at the moment about getting men talking, getting men emotionally literate. I know you're in this area yourself. Getting men sharing. If your mate's gone quiet, check in once, check in twice. Check in till he tells you to fuck off. Because if he's going to top himself, him telling you to fuck off is the least of your worries. All of those things. But there is a significant number of Gary, Daves, Lees and Trevors who get left behind because they don't want to be emotionally literate. They don't want to put a jumper on and a digestive and share. They can't get out their heads.
And that was me.
You're never going to reach them. So I do believe humour serves a different role in men. You might think this is sexist and binary or whatever. All I'm telling you is men kill themselves 7 times more than women. As we understand.
And you've never been a woman, so it's hard. It's hard. People ask me, why do you coach men? I was like, I've never been a woman. I work with women now, but I find it harder because I've never been a woman.
And it's just my bias. I've had a lot of results in life where all the other blokes in my group haven't had a mate to talk.
Well, you're from a masculine upbringing as well, right? Your dad.
Jack's not talking. I'll get a result because I fucked about for 3 minutes first.
Yes.
Oh, your wife's left you. Hey, do you want me to look up a bra sweater? Like take the piss out of him for 3 minutes, and he's opened up to me an hour later. There's clearly some men that need humour as a sort of lube before you enter their heads with your words. It might be hard for some women to understand, but that is male bonding. If there could be a guy who is fucked up about losing his hair, this is a massive thing for men. We don't talk about it. I don't think people realise how fucked up men are about their hair and their hairlines. And yet we would always rather your mates were saying something piss taking first before telling you
I
about
agree.
minoxidil. It's hard to understand, ladies. I get it.
Yeah.
But that's where man baggage sits.
Yeah, I love that, because it's a funny thing, because obviously I've worked with fucking thousands of men who've been in this place, and I think, and this was me when I was suicidal, is you think talking about it's going to mean you get mollycoddled,
Yeah.
and someone's going to give you a hug and that, and sometimes I think some men don't need that. Me personally, I needed someone to tell us to wake the fuck up. Like, I needed to be told, like, this is you that's doing this, nothing else. But I love that humour thing, because it's hard to, you're right about these men, they're hard to get to.
Yeah.
Hard to get to. Why are you so passionate about it?
Well, what's wrong with my brother isn't anything like this. My brother is severely disabled by mental health to the point where can't text, can't do a shopping list, never had a girlfriend, never worked. So he's at the severe end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So that's how I've ended up working with like charities and all that type of work. But even my own journey, I mean, I've never had a therapist. I've never been on antidepressants. So I sometimes feel like a bit of a fraud joining in on this until I remember I did the Hoffman process, which is one of the most intense things you can do.
Yeah.
8-day residential, no phones, no exercise. You're supposed not to even masturbate. They didn't police it, but you spent a lot of money on it, so you don't. And you just focus on yourself. Why did I do it? I did it because I had an issue which was hidden. And it was just, I suppose I'm more in the anger management area. I've never hit a human being in my life, male or female. I've been hit in the face a few times by bullies and then just walked off. But because of this, I've avoided physical conflict like no other bloke I know. I mean, in every situation I'm out, I'm high-fiving the person who was about to stab us and rob our money. I've got what it takes to stop an arsehole being an arsehole enough time for us to get away.
Yeah, and talk your way out of it.
So I've never, and in my personal life, I've never ever, touch wood, ever struck a person or animal. That said, I have had a complicated relationship with inanimate objects. From the age of 14, it started, I would say, if a computer didn't work or I couldn't find my keys or I was running late for school, I would go beyond what is a normal door slam. The hole through the wall, tear a book in half. Always hidden, always covered up. Obviously, I got found out a few times here and there. That built and built. It built and fucking built. To the point where now I'm starting dating. Obviously, you're drinking too much and everything else in your 20s. I'd have an argument with a girlfriend. I'd just do like crazy shit, like walk into a road or something. This is not your sort of self-harming. Give me some attention. I'm stabbing myself in the bathroom. Yeah. Which I'm not sorry. I shouldn't do that. I'm not making light of it, but I'm just telling you it wasn't that type of self-harming. Yeah. This self-harming was I've got a temper brewing up inside me that's so scary. If I don't stab myself in the arm. Yeah. I'm going to do something fucking mental and like run out of a window or run on a train track, just in rage, not in suicide. Come on then, fucking headbutt a Nissan. So I got more and more to the point where I'd be having a row, never with in this situation, always with a girlfriend, only someone who I was intimate with, where I could let the full fake shit fall away. And I would just pick up a pen and go, there we are, cunt, done. And then I've got a hole. I'm like, great, got a hole in my arm. And if you look, hold on a sec, got some scars up and down here.
Yeah, shit.
That one there. That one there's a bad one. Yeah. That's where I hit. You know the lock hanging off the blinds they draw down at shops. I just went like that, hit the lock, and it unfortunately hit that vein slightly. So that was scary. These I used to pretend were scars from where I used to keep house rabbits. Oh, you got to be careful picking up rabbits. That was my cover story. Oh shit! It was done by animals. It weren't done by animals. It was done by me. Yeah. In a rage. Yeah. But then when I talk about it, I get put in the. Did you want attention? No, I wanted the opposite. Yeah. I just wanted the rage to stop, and it worked. The trouble was, worked brilliantly. The second,
so that would make you keep doing it,
calm as fuck. Yeah. Not often. Yeah, this wasn't like it was happening every week. Yeah, and then there was one incident that left to the Hoffman. Do you want me to? I'll tell you what happened. I'd had a gig. We're all red now. I'm in my 30s, and self-harming injuries we associate with females in their teens or 20s. Yeah, most people grow out of self-harming. For a straight man in his 30s to be doing this, we're down into like the tiny statistics now. I know. I mean, we know we've got a lot of wall punchers amongst men. I'm not. I'm still allowing myself the odd door slam or mug throw even now. Normal behaviour. Don't stress. But to actually self-stabbing and shit, something else. Anyway, so I'd had a dodgy gig at home. Start having a row with my ex. Can't remember what it was about.
What's a dodgy gig? Like you just
knackered, lost my energy, worried about Edinburgh, working too hard. Yeah. This is 2009. We're eating a Chinese takeaway. I'll never forget it. I had this special fried rice just served up. And I just lost my temper. and head butted my dinner as hard as I could, right? But a ceramic plate on a wooden table, not a good combination. The claret has gone across the room, like I thought I'd done myself bad. It was only a tiny injury, but the blood, stitches, but the blood was pumping out. My sight's gone straight away where the blood's run into my eyes. So I panicked, thought I blinded myself. Sat in the kitchen, crying, calling an ambulance, all this. And as I'm picking, trying to clear the blood out of my eyes, I'm picking small white, soft fragments out, which I swear to God, for a full minute, I thought were bits of my skull. I'd cracked my fucking skull open. It was a life before your eyes, mate. And do you know what it was? It was special fried rice, obviously, what it was. I thought, you won't get another warning like that.
Yeah.
The next one, you're going to cut a vein, everyone will say you killed yourself. That was not, I didn't intend to kill myself. I intended to milk temper out.
Yeah.
I ended up in casualty.
It's relief, innit? That's what you're trying to get relief from the anger.
I had to go and see the domestic violence lady,
Fucking hell.
who then my poor wife is being looked at, trying to get old Billy involved, like she's abusing me. My ex-wife, this is. My ex-partner, I should say. So I was like, that's my red line. And that's what it took for me to enroll in the Hoffman, which is an extreme emotional talking therapy intervention. But I've never had and seen another therapist since. I've never taken antidepressant, and I've never once since 2009 ever done anything like that ever again. Not one incident.
Wow.
Not one. So yes, I can slam a door. Yes, I can say I can't, and maybe kick a book across the room.
Yeah.
But I don't medicalise shit like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
So you could say that was quite transformative for you then.
8 days from a lifetime of building up to stabbing myself and smashing things that were expensive. Fist through a laptop, for example.
Yeah.
I've never done anything like that. I mean, I've had a couple of near misses.
Yeah.
Where I've slammed a door and broken it, or maybe I've hit a light switch and cracked it. But I'm a human being. I'm sure everyone watching this has had those days.
Yeah.
I'm talking about scary shit with blood.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah.
Gone overnight. Finished.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's mad.
And something else I couldn't do before Hoffman. Never realised this was a problem. Didn't hug people. We hugged when you turned up. Didn't we?
Shit.
Just normal.
Normal. You never did that?
Never.
Jesus.
Normal media behaviour. Hug. Hey, how you doing, man? We gave each other a hug. Normal now. I can't believe there was a time where I didn't do that.
You're in the industry that like double kisses as well, aren't you?
Everything.
Yeah.
But I can remember being in my 20s, and when I felt a party coming to the end, I would get near the door, so I'd go, see you later, everyone, and do like a room wave and get out.
Shit.
Very working class male thing. It's either a sexual hug or no contact.
Yes.
That's my choice. I've never been sexually abused. I've never had inappropriate sexual attention. I've just put hugging in. You hug your missus, you hug your mum, you hug my nan. I'll give my nan, my mum a kiss. Any female cousins, anything other than that, don't.
And did you not even realise that until after the Hoffman? Or did you know that? Did you know that?
I didn't know. I don't think I really thought it was an issue. I thought, what's the issue?
Yeah.
And afterwards, now they call it the Hoffman hug. So I'm evangelising here. Sorry, Hoffman Society. I'm probably losing you subscriptions because it's so cringe, but I'm a hugger. I love it. I'm a media hugger. I've got no problems with a double cheek kiss. I don't see it as a cringy or I suppose I put it in the same category as that's reserved for someone you love. Yeah. Either your mum, your nan, or your wife, or your child, or your pets. I'll hug my pets. But why am I hugging Paul Mort? But now it was just automatic.
People will pay good money for that. Do you know what I mean?
Even though, but as long as our balls don't touch, it's fine. But yeah, so I never hugged anyone. Yeah. And it makes it sound like I had this terrible childhood. I just had a normal working class childhood. Yeah. I remember my dad was fucking testosterone, weightlifting, fucking nut job bouncer who made nunchucks and sold them down the pub. Mm-hmm. But he was a good dad. He worked hard, never laid a finger on me. My parents never divorced. And there is no interesting abuse story here that I can give you. There is nothing.
You haven't got that fucking big background.
I've never been a drug addict.
Hero's journey.
I've never had suicidal thought. Nothing's gone wrong. I just found myself in a place where I would fucking love to cut my hand off when I lost my temper. It crossed my mind.
Talk to me about this is a random question, but I have to bring it in because I'm obsessed with this about you. There's two things I'm obsessed with you about. I'll tell you the other one in a second. How do you manage your fucking schedule? Because your schedule's fucking insane to me.
Yeah, I just quite visually programmed, so I just find the iCal diary. Yeah, it's quite good. I make sure I have at least one completely clear day off a week, and one day where I've only got like something I'm doing from home.
Yeah.
Like this would sit in my second day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Possibly.
And some Zoom stuff maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But then I'll have one completely Jim Jams day. The other thing that doesn't fit with my personality, I don't understand it, is I'm just so good at doing nothing.
Oh yeah.
I can do.
Are you really?
I can do 14 nights. I never have because I've got too much stand-up going on. But 7 nights is what I've been lucky enough to experience in the Maldives. All I need is a pile of books, all inclusive. It's got to be because I'm a moron. I don't like the thought of a bill at the end. And I can eat and drink and read. I'm fucking great at it. St. Lucia, any beach breakfast, I can do it.
Do you think that's Russell because you? I mean, I'm not talking about the arm, but do you think part of that is because you're so busy?
Yeah.
So your downtime has to be. You have to rest as hard as you work.
So in another life before this, I worked in an advertising agency. That's what I was doing before, and we did these personality tests, extrovert or introvert, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're going to be an introvert," and I came back what's called an ambivert, which I don't think many people realise they are.
That's the level down from pervert.
Yes, exactly. Someone who smells their own farts.
Who doesn't do that, by the way?
No, there is a word for that, calvert. And anyway, I don't know. Look it up.
Oh, is there a word for that?
It's in the Profanosaurus.
I still do that.
Yeah.
I still like catch them and
Postman's delivery.
cup of poop.
Do you want to sign for this? What is it? It's fucking fart, you dirty bastard. No,
Still do that to me kids.
If you're an ambivert, you will, when you're out and about, want to be the first one dancing. I love all the girls dancing around me at the R&B brunch while Lindsay's watching. I love being on stage. I love strangers clapping and laughing at me. I love being on telly. But when I'm on the road, most other stand-ups, they put their backpacks on. I have to walk to a cafe, or I go, mate, I can sit in that if I'm doing a 3-night run, I can sit in that hotel room like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Aviator. I don't even want to go down and collect my Deliveroo. Do you know why? Because I'm in fucking heaven in there. Socks, pants, Netflix, porn on cycle, really good food from Deliveroo. I lay it all out in front of me. Bro. I don't need anything other than my own company.
Do you love Deliveroo?
Film. I've always been like it. I can recharge from books and film. I'm very lucky to have this gift of enjoying books. It's certainly from no one in my family. But once you've got if you enjoy books, it's such an amazing thing. Because for 60p at a charity shop, even if you're skin and can't afford your heat, you can go anywhere. You can literally, if your imagination is good, you can fucking go anywhere. If you can afford a Netflix subscription, which is a luxury in this day and age, you can go into the future and in the past. I just love films and I love books.
Mate, let's stay here because I fucking love books as well. What's your favourite kind of book? Because I know that you read quite a lot of novels as well, right?
Omnivorous, definitely.
Are you more of a fiction than a fact kind of guy? Because you both.
Yeah. No, I alternate. Depends what mood I'm in. I've struggled the last couple of months to find a novel I'm into. I'm just trying to read for the first time John le Carré, which I've never read.
Oh man, which one are you reading?
Tinker Tailor Soldier
Spy.
Oh,
it's sick.
Just
it's
started.
Sick,
literally just started it.
Yeah.
But before that, I'm always looking for books that expand your mind. I love Will Storr, for example. He wrote the book Selfie. He also wrote the book about status, which I've just bought, and that's on my list to read.
Yeah.
So I like.
And you're still paperback guy, right? And hardback guy.
Oh,
You're not gone Kindle yet.
I do. I have Kindle.
Kindle as well.
Luggage allowance on holiday.
Yeah, sick.
So I have that, and I get my newspaper on there. But I'll read lots of Richard Dawkins. Every Richard Dawkins book I'll read. Every Ian McEwan novel I'll read. Haven't read the latest. Yeah. I just love stories. You can go into the head. You read Toni Morrison, and you can go into the head of a black female slave and live her fucking life. And you could say, okay, well, why not read Hochschild's book, Bury the Chains on Slavery, which I've just read. I'm only using slavery as an example because I've read 2 books back to back. Yeah. And Hochschild's book, if you're interested in the history of the abolition of slavery, an amazing book. Yes, I enjoyed it. Yes, I learned a lot. Yeah. Did I understand much slavery as when I read Toni Morrison's Beloved? No. And the reason is, well, I heard a great quote. If you want to know facts, go to non-fiction. If you want to know the truth, go to novels. If you want to
That's really interesting.
The truth, the emotional truth. Because I think human beings, sometimes...
The emotional truth.
Sometimes serving up fact can be too much. It doesn't go down as well. So you're using it in your seminars, you just don't realise. Yes. So if we say, okay, guys, what we're going to do, this is how anger works, this is how we're going to solve it, it's different to going, I'm going to take you on a journey now. I'm a 14-year-old boy. I walk into a room, my computer's not working. I walk up to it, the sweat's coming across my brow. I'm telling you a story now. You're immediately more emotionally engaged.
Me bang on when I this is why I keep getting asked back to speak at events, because I can wrap up a teaching inside of a story.
Yeah.
So I can tell a story about going down a fucking slide at the Atlantis in Dubai, the leap of faith. I can tell a story about that and wrap it up as teach confidence or courage, rather than just teach here are the 3 things you need to know about confidence.
You've answered your own question.
Yeah, that's amazing.
There's a real problem. I'm assuming it's worldwide. In the UK, men, I'm generalising it, do not read novels. They find it girly, or in fact, I was just part of the Women's Prize for Fiction. Men don't read female authors. It's a real problem. Men should be reading really good female authors, because all of this shit we spend our lives toxically shooting each other up about on Twitter. Men need to read this by Germaine Greer. Give a man a novel.
I read The Handmaid's Tale.
For example, yeah,
fucking unbelievable.
Put a fucking Margaret Atwood in a bloke's
unbelievable
hand, and he'll tut, and then all of a sudden, halfway through this sci-fi masterpiece, he'll realise what it's like to be it's a metaphor for what it's like to be a woman. You've got to learn.
Do you know the mad part? My wife bought it to read. I'd finished something I was reading, so I picked that up and I never gave her it back.
Yeah.
I don't even know where it is. She never got to read it because I picked it up. I was like, fucking hell, this is amazing.
That's something blokes could do right now watching this. Read more fiction, because the medicine goes down better, the learning, the insight. Find things of your life that you're unhappy about, and then read a novel that's got a character in it like that. Just try that for an experiment.
That's cool. What's your favourite ever novel?
Oh, so again, it's
top 3.
It is by not a male novelist, but it's with a protagonist who's female. So Madame Bovary by Flaubert. 1857 by some people.
Flaubert sounds like a fucking rapper.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Flo Rida's cousin.
Bear Flo. That's Bear Flo you're thinking of. No, Flaubert wrote Madame Bovary. She's this girl. She wants to be more glamorous than she is. Starts shagging everyone in the village. Marries a guy, a doctor who's a nice guy, a bit of a sop. Treats him like shit, and it all goes wrong for him. Just the way he goes into this woman's head, and he's just some like pervy old guy in his 50s when he wrote it, some French dude. Yeah, that's brilliant. Flaubert. If that's too arty-farty, just
have you read The Silent Patient? Have you ever read that book?
No, what's that?
That blew me head off. This was out last year. It's about this woman who loses her shit a little bit, and she has the shrink ends. I'm not even going to tell you, but it's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. And
Ian McEwan's good.
Woman that never talks. What's Ian McEwan wrote?
You know, Ian McEwan, the novelist, his books are amazing. They're nice and short. It's always gruesome stuff happens in them. Is it like a He wrote Atonement, Amsterdam. He's won the Booker Prize twice, I think. The guy's a fucking legend. He wrote, the last one was about robots in the future and androids and have their feelings. Kazuo Ishiguro's another good one. I mean, it's just do a little fucking B-roll shot of the shelf after.
Do you know
George Orwell. Do
you know what's mad, mate? My favourite podcast, I always say, are people when I ask them a question and they fucking light up when I ask them it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this to be the thing. Yeah, so I love interviewing a chef. I interviewed my friend who's a chef, Matt, and I asked him what, he mentioned fine dining. I was like, well, what's fine dining? And he went fucking off on one. I had goosebumps and everything. And he was just talking about fine dining. It was fucking phenomenal. You just did that with books there.
I've made friends recently. I'm going to say it's a friendship with a novelist called Kit Duvall. Woman in her 60s. On paper, you would think, well, we've got in common, but very similar backgrounds, class-wise. And her novel, if you're going to start anywhere, My Name is Leon. Read it on audiobook. I don't draw a difference between reading audiobooks.
Oh, do you not?
I will not, unless you are under 18 and still learning about the spelling and the shape of words. Fuck anyone that says an audiobook is less.
So do you do both?
Of course.
Do you?
And in fact, I went further than that. I went on, there's a show on Radio 4, a really highbrow show called Open Book, all about literature. And I got to guest host it once. What a privilege. They went, you can do any segment. I went, I want to speak to a neuro-linguist, and I want to find out if audiobooks are lesser absorbed than books read in the hand, because there's a snobbery. And they are not.
Yeah. Really?
They are go into the same fucking safe. You experience the same cultural expansion. And a lot of men who've had a bad experience at school and in English don't associate picking up the books with positive emotion. They can't focus. They get bored. The eye wanders. Get an audiobook with fucking Stephen Fry or Tim West or someone really banging it out. Get the audiobook of Margaret Atwood's novel, The Handmaid's Tale.
And you've been reading some, though. You've been doing a bit of that, haven't you, as well? Like reading,
I do.
Being the narrator.
Yeah, I make audiobooks as well. But yeah, I don't believe that there is a difference between reading it by audiobook or reading a regular book. So that's a good way to get men onto fiction.
I've got that snobbery around that as well, actually. Although I did listen to the best audiobook I've ever done fiction-wise, The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman.
Oh, he's
read in his stuff, Neil Gaiman.
I've only read bits of Gaiman, but he's absolutely amazing.
Class. Mate, I've got so many questions I want to ask, so that's...
Crack on, let me know.
Let's get on to these. Do you still get nervous when you go on the stage or not?
Depends on the type of gig. Tonight, for example, as we're speaking, I'm on tour in Buxton, medium-sized room, 800 seats.
Yeah.
Everyone's there to see me.
Yeah.
It's excitement. It's closer to... I don't know why I keep drawing boxing analogies. Do you know why I do? Because I know people that do boxing and comedy, and that's the apparently it's the closest thing. If you want to know what stand-up feels like, go and have a fight. It's equivalent of the nerves and the build-up and the training and the practice, and it hurts, except the bruises are on the inside. But when you're much bigger than your opponent, and when you know you're going to win the fight, the nerves,
you can say what you want.
That said, the aggression and the excitement and the gum shielding and all of that, I can't wait to knock the cunt out.
Yeah.
Once you put me in a multiple lineup where someone else is the headliner, or it's not even a comedy show. Take Royal Variety, which is about one of the trickiest shows you can do in my business. They're there to see Harry Styles at the end. There's a magician before you. You can't swear. You can't talk about politics. They're controlling every word of what you said in preview because they have to for TV. But you're an improvised comedian. Yeah. And you've got to go on at the end in front of a curtain while One Direction is setting up behind you, which is what happened to me. That's when my bottle goes.
Is it?
I'm virtually just shitting liquid. By the third time I go to the toilet, it's like Bisto is sponsoring my ass. Yeah. It is bum gravy time. I can snort an Imodium. It would make no difference. That's when my bottle goes, when they're not there for me. Or when they're like, fuck off.
Yes.
I do a lot of gigs like that.
Yes.
Me
too.
Corporate gigs, they're called, where you're simply there to hand out their awards. Yes. They're not even aware that they were going to have you to hand out their awards.
They're pissed.
And you've got to do 20 minutes stand-up first.
They're pissed as well.
Eating their dinner.
But
I like them because... Like I say, I'm good at them, and the reason I'm good at them and like them is I like to be tested like that. But do I have nerves? Absolutely.
How
is it a normal?
I need some advice on this because I decided I was going to stop doing them this year.
Yeah.
How do you? I might take them back up now because they're decent. For your profile, how do you deal with all them being pissed and feeling like they're not listening and all of that? Like, what's your...
A well-known stand-up is a friend of mine. I won't say was voice noting me the other night. I'm like, and I've had more than one voice note from different comedians. I'm your go-to guy. I'll get a voice note from household name comedian at 8 in the evening. Russ, what would you do in this situation?
Mate, it's Chris Ramsey who told me to stop doing them. He said, just fucking stop doing them.
Right. So I am known as not just doing these well, but enjoying them. And that's the secret weapon, I'm afraid, for every single thing, including blowjobs, ladies. Once you're enjoying doing it,
I remember those.
The audience. I mean, you can't. If a girl is giving you a blowjob and she's enjoying it, it's the best thing in the world. That thing that someone is into being fucked, right? Yeah. So that's the same. You've got to, with stand up, genuinely, or anything, whether you're training to be a doctor or a fighter. I mean, imagine watching a boxer who doesn't want to really box. I mean, that's the most tragic image I can think of. Oh, fuck, I want to pay my mortgage. Yeah. If you can't get into a head where you're like, this is about solving a creative problem here, I can't wait. Like when I did your thing, it's totally different setup because I was
a totally different setup.
I was invited and they were excited to see me. Yeah. But there was something to be solved because you needed me to speak in a tone in between what I'm using now and in between funny to keep them engaged. Never done that before. I've never been halfway down the.
Because you were quite nervous at that, weren't you?
Because I've never done half and half.
I wanted to ask you about that. Can we jump straight onto this?
Well, it's relevant.
Yeah, it is relevant.
It was a corporate gig
because you were nervous, and you said to me, and I'll remember this, that you didn't want to make them belly laugh.
Yeah.
Why was that?
Because the stuff I wanted to talk about was serious, and if I laughed too much, I might get carried away and just do like all my Newcastle stuff. And I wanted to be able to talk to stop the laughter completely.
Yes.
And talk about starting life and some of the challenges I've had without them going, oh, it's not funny anymore. He's starting to die. Yeah. So I wanted the rhythm of no laughs to become normal. Yeah. And the only way to do that is to be 50% less funny. I'd never done that. How did I solve it? I'm going to call it a genuine gum shield in. Well, let's see if I can knock this fucking one out.
Yeah.
Once you get your gum shield in
Yeah.
and you're up for it,
Yeah.
that's how you solve a corporate. So far as practical things you can do, not yours, which was beautifully teched and well done. If they're all moving around eating their dinner and talking, number one, I mean, I don't know why we're giving people tips. Maybe if you're doing public
because this is for me. This is purely selfish.
Number one, try and get someone senior from the company to go up and introduce you.
Yes.
They listen. They will always listen to their boss.
Yeah.
Number two, bring the lights right down and refuse to go on until they're seated and facing the front. And number three, make sure you get plenty of production to bring you on stage. If all
What do you mean by plenty of production?
Music. Welcome to the stage.
Ah, shit. So pattern interrupts, kind of.
Full blackout. Bring you on, lights up.
Yeah, nice.
Try all of those three things. If they all fail and you go on to solid talking, don't start doing comedy or, oh, well, this is a load of shit, because you're on a law of diminishing returns. And this is what I advised my friend to do the other week, close up instead. They're not listening. Act like, oh, great. Anyway, let those guys at the back, I'm going to talk to this little table here and just entertain that table. It's coming out of the amp. Just go table by table close up. Because they will listen. Yeah. They won't turn away.
The ones on that table that listen.
Just do table to table. And
okay.
Sometimes it catches.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So there you are, practical tips.
Well, no use to anybody else watching, but thank you for that free coaching. A lot of people
will be doing public speaking, though, in their office environment.
Yeah.
And
isn't that, I'm sure you mentioned this to me, that's like, there's a name for it now. Glossophobia, it's called.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
I thought that was when you hated painting radiators.
Yeah.
But apparently it's a thing, glossophobia. Glossophobia, it's a fear of public speaking, and I can't believe it's got a name.
So get the boss or the MD or the head of that department or someone who that room respects to go up before you. Have them switch the strip lighting off before you go on. It might be a bit of a joke, but it'll work. They'll listen. Yeah. So you can take things out from what I just said. Yeah.
And I love it. We've got one for tomorrow. Actually, I always have a fucking intro video with all the B-roll on it and shit, and me speaking on various stages. How much prep do you do for stand-up? Like, is there a rehearsal? Is that, or do you not need to?
So this show is different to every other show I've done in the past and every other show I'll do in the future. What I would normally do is every time something funny happens, it could have happened in the kitchen just then when we're messing around, I'll quickly take a note. Oh yeah, Geordies do this, and write it in my notes and just forget about it. Then what I'll do is I'll go through those notes on my phone. The reason I use the phone is because the iCloud backup. The days of writing it down are long gone. I lost the book. And I'll think, what are the funniest ones of those that last about 40 minutes? Write them all down on a bit of paper. Then I'll book 30 previews. 30 50-seaters, tiny.
No, really?
You can't hide them.
Are these ones that you don't really advertise hard then?
Don't need to. The venue just sends out an email. You know, it'll be like Smoke and Mirrors in Bristol. I think it seats 40 to 50.
Fuck me.
So, and I'll book at each venue, I'll book a 4 or 5 night run, no Fridays or Saturdays. I do not want the help of alcohol and having a good night out. I want total focus, hardcore, arts people, Monday to Thursday.
I'm legit getting private coaching right now.
Right.
I love it.
The reason I do that, 2 reasons. Number one, after 30 coats of gloss paint, it appears finished, whereas reality, what you're seeing is the end product of evolution and rehearsal. But number 2, if you do the same show 5 times in each room, controls out the variables.
Yes.
Because some things are about, it's a long, thin room, or, oh yeah, old people come to this venue, they don't laugh at anything. Until you've done it 5 nights on the bounce, you can't say, that routine what I do about Geordies is definitely funny across the board 4 nights a week. I'll take that to my Glasgow previews next week. At the end of those 30, I've always got a banging 60 minutes without fail. Essex variant was different. It was built up in lockdown through little asides, little bits, and it wasn't supposed to be a tour. It wasn't a tour when you came to see it at the Globe. It was an extended set that's grown into this beast and has turned out, fucking sod's law, to be my most successful show ever. The first, no one gets a good review in The Guardian, but The Guardian actually called it the best show of 2020. Me. You know, blokes like me who have already had a bite of the cherry, demographically and artistically. Yeah. It was just incredible that Brian Logan said that. Yeah.
That is pretty fucking cool.
So that I said we need to rebrand it. It's not Russell Kane live. It's not always a 50 minutes set. It's called the Essex Variant. It's a tour. We're going on the road, and my manager's like, we didn't plan this, and I'm like, let's fucking do it. We started putting it on sale, and I've never sold tickets like it.
Man, that's mad.
Ever.
Do you know what I love about what you just said? My manager's on to me, Paul, let's do another show. And I'm like, I need to go somewhere where I know there's going to be fucking hundreds, 800 to 1,000 people. And you've just said you'll book somewhere that only has 50 seats. That's below me. Why would you
do that?
I don't know. Because I've had 1,000.
Yeah.
And I know what that feels like.
The problem with a preview with 800, if 100 people laugh, you're still going to think the shit's good. If 50 people, if 2 people laugh, you ain't going to keep that.
Yeah, that's fucking cool, man. That's cool. Talk to me about what I always ask someone about this, because the one thing I've realised from hanging out with successful people, from interviewing successful people, is that all have had to learn to deal with criticism.
Yeah.
Do you still get that? You must do.
All the time. I mean, I wake up every day, including today, to you talentless prick, kill yourself. It's just not. I mean, when you see people going on TV going, I had my family and I had a death threat, I'm like, that is fucking just delete, next block. It's just normal to me.
Yeah.
So stand-up is so provocative. My style's very energetic. I do these things called, how different does this feel to this? Immediately different, right? So as soon as you're doing that down the camera, everyone's got an opinion. You're coming down their eye holes when you do it on TV.
Yes.
Not after live gigs. Obviously, you've got the journalists that don't like you, but you don't get trouble at live.
I mean, their job is to criticise, isn't it? They're critics. That's
and when you're on tour, you get the odd drunken incident and someone gets chucked out. But so far as criticism online, the best training I had for that was I worked in an advertising agency. So my degree was in literature, but the last year I moved into creative writing. You had to learn to be able to critique your own stuff. When you're in advertising, you can spend 4 days locked in a glass cube coming up. This is the solution to Vodafone's creative brief. This is the headline. We've cracked it, high-fiving each other with eye bags. Come out, the creative director's like, shit. And you've got to throw it in the bin without emotion.
Yeah.
Once you learn the skill of someone telling you your stuff shit and throwing it in the bin without emotion, mate, that is a superpower.
Yeah.
So when I can go into a stand-up preview, which obviously I've missed this time around with this show, and I will be utterly convinced that the story of me and Paul Mort going out for noodles and me spilling noodles in my lap is the funniest story I've ever told.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't laugh, I better try another 100 times. I'm like, shit
Yes.
then. Bye.
Yeah.
No attachment.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
I've written books. I've written 3 sitcom pilots. I've written a musical, all of which have been binned after months of work. I don't think I even had an hour of negative emotion.
Really?
I'm bothered. Next.
That's fucking good. That's
It's a fucking superpower.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
But I had to do it professionally for 5 years. Otherwise you just didn't earn.
Yeah.
So I learned it in the ad agency. And now
because
I
there's
feel
so many people who I think get, I'm going to not ask a selfish question now. There's so many people that kind of get crippled by this fear of being criticised.
Yeah.
Like, they think that they use this whole, well, I might get criticised, I'm worried about what people might think. And I think for so many people, that's what stops them from living a life that they really want to live, because they're so fucking, they get so obsessed with what people might think and what people might say.
I recorded something yesterday. So that's why the research is in my head.
Yeah.
That mindset correlates with shorter lifespan.
Does
Sorry
it?
to put it so brutally.
Yeah.
But people that are excessively concerned, I'm not saying be a serial killer. You must care what people think on a creative level.
Yes.
But if you get hung up and stew and ponder on what people think, it's strongly associated with coronary and cancer and shorter lifespan.
Jesus, wow.
Because newsflash, cortisol, the stress hormone, can dump calcium in your arteries around your heart, whether you're fucking keto, ripped, McRip, and you're totally healthy and live a Zen lifestyle. If you give a shit and you're stressed, you will increase your coronary risk, particularly if you're a man.
Yeah.
And that comes with all the other risks, dementia, cancer, and all of that stuff. And that is why, unfortunately, psychopaths are so successful and tend to lead long lives. They genuinely don't give a fuck. That's too far. The trick is to listen to what the criticism's telling you. If someone's telling you a joke is coming across slightly racist in a way you didn't intend, fucking listen. But don't become emotionally attached to the fact, oh, Johnny said my joke's a bit racist. That's where the error is.
Yeah.
So you must listen to the feedback. Use it. Someone's giving you a gift.
Yeah.
The more successful you get...
And they might be right as well, right?
They are.
They could be right.
The worst thing you can do once you pass 50, 60, 70, 80 grand a year earning is to have people around you that say yes and think you're great.
Yes.
Have at least 2 people who don't rate you that much, but are not being negative for no reason, but aren't impressed.
I'm sure that's known as a wife, innit? My wife's the same.
A good one.
Yeah.
But my tour manager, for example, Murray, we have what's the most negative thing that happened at the gig, and whoever's mistake it is, no one gets in trouble.
Yeah.
Black box policy, I call it.
Yeah.
Whatever's in that black box, no one's getting sacked.
Yeah.
No one's getting disciplined. Oh, right, you fucked up that fade to sound as I walked on. What a gift.
Yeah.
That will never happen again because we now know you need to bring the beat down to the new track we're using when I say the name of the town.
The most negative thing, I like that. What's the most negative thing?
People are giving you a gift, not spiteful, nasty fuckers.
Yeah.
Mute those, and you're gonna have to grow a pair and toughen up.
Yeah.
But for the rest of them, treat it like a gift. Unwrap it. What's in that failure? What can you learn?
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Same with boxing. You get knocked down once, you ain't gonna get knocked down by that guy again, are you?
Yeah.
You learn how he moves.
That's what I think. There's that whole Rocky quote that people love, which is not about how many times you can get knocked down. I'm like, if you keep getting knocked down, mate, you're doing something fucking wrong.
It's how many times you can get up again and then not get knocked down because you know this guy's got a wide right or whatever.
What's the maddest thing that's ever happened in a gig? Because you mentioned drunk people in the crowd. What's the maddest thing that's ever happened?
Well, maddest disruption wise, I mean, only just on this tour.
Yeah.
With stand up, I'm assuming it's the same with any other public speaking or product launch type thing. The most it's like a flight. Statistically, once your plane's in the air, you're probably going to be all right.
Yes.
The most dangerous point is landing, but takeoff. If you survive takeoff, you're not going to die. People that are scared of flying, and it's the same stand up. If you can just get into the air for those first 2 minutes,
it's totally the same with public speaking.
If something happens in that first minute, your mic breaks or someone shouts, "You prick!"
Your fucking slides don't work.
Right.
Yeah, nightmare.
It can, like Japanese knotweed, go into the foundations of your gig.
Yeah.
I went on in Southend, home gig, 1,700 people sold out. Second night sold out. I'm like fucking swinging my dick at the side of the stage. I can do anything here. I can like Rumpelstiltskin. I can make gold. Walk out. There's a woman sat on the stage, drunk. I've got cancer and I'm not moving.
Oh, fucking hell.
Deal with that.
Oh, shit.
I got cancer. I'm dead neat. Russell, I love you. You're going to do the gig to me. Come and give me a hug. You're my favourite comedian. I got cancer. You're already at a point where your brain's going, right, what do I...
How can I make this funny? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, how can I make this funny? How can I not? She's going to be dragged off by security. I can't let that happen. At the same time, I can't do a joke with her going, hey! Like, I made a mistake, which was said, what do you want me to do? Sit here and magic mic you? Then, of course, the rest of the audience wanted me to strip for her. They started cheering, which I didn't, obviously not going to do.
Shit.
So in the end, I went down the tender, more like a Russell Brand type. Come on, mate, I'll give you a hug. What a sad. So let's give her a round of applause. You are going to have to leave because the show will be totally ruined if you stay. Let's help her down with security. She's getting chucked out, but we all love her, don't we? Let's love her as she's chucked out. I went down that route.
Yeah.
I rolled with the punch.
Yeah.
That I couldn't avoid.
Yeah.
That's pretty mad.
Holy
so far
shit.
as in and around gigs, I mean, people think I'm exaggerating this or that I'm trying to get it going because it's funny. But I get muddled up with Nick Grimshaw to an intolerable degree, to the point where it's so fucking... She can't stand it.
Really?
She's a man, can she? So she kicks off at anything. But the maddest thing that ever happened, so I'm playing the Hammersmith Apollo, it's fucking 4,000 odd seats, whatever it is.
Mate, that's some fucking venue.
And I always like to go out before the gig starts, and I did it at Stockton, and I'll have a little look at the crowd arriving, and I'll have my hoodie up and everything. And someone in the crowd on the Hammersmith Apollo's got like a big outdoor courtyard bit where everyone's like moving in like zombies. Someone turns to me and went, "Are you going to see Russell? Are you a fan of his? Grimmy's here. Grimmy, can I have a selfie?" So
No.
someone thought I was Grimmy going to see me.
Oh my God, that is incredible.
Like, that's Black Mirror shit, isn't it?
Wow.
But we went to see the cinema, me and Lindsay, fucking empty cinema, about 10 people in it, straight out of Compton, hyper masculine. We were drinking, getting off with each other in the sea. Really nice date night. And a woman, and we huddled afterwards waiting for a taxi, and a woman went, "What's going on here?" to Lindsay. She's like, "What do you mean?" She went, "He's gay. My brother, no, she's Cockney. My brother came out because of you, and you are getting off with a girl. It's no problem if you're not gay." Just thinking I'm Nick Grimshaw. And as I went to answer, Lindsay went, "What fucking business is it of yours? Even if he was Nick Grimshaw, which is not, you fucking silly bitch. What business is it of yours, whether he's bisexual or whatever? Stay out of people's business." And this woman, it was like, you know when you see someone on the boxing ball.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
She is fucking gone.
Have you had a conversation with Grimshaw about this?
Yes, we did Soccer AM together.
Oh, did you?
And they do split screens and make jokes of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm going to have to watch that now.
I'm assuming it happens to him. Obviously for him, for me, it's funny and cool. Imagine Grimmy being muddled up with me. I'm 12 years older than him, and I'm not a Radio 1 DJ.
What a great fucking segue, mate, into our last question. Talk to me about this, because I know my friend James Smith was on your podcast. Him and my manager, the first thing they said is, "How the fuck is Russell Kane 47?
I know.
And I always ask you this. What's the secret?
So I started slowly, like with everything. I started with the basics, cutting out sugar about 9-10 years ago, the real basics. Then I moved on to the second basics, which is stop eating shit. I mean, there is no magic diet. I eat a block of butter in the morning. I shit myself at 5 p.m. and
I've just seen his book over there, actually. The guy who we're talking about there.
I've lost a stone. Have you really? You've also fucking got duodenum cancer now, you fucking bellend. Stop eating a block of butter.
Yeah.
I've gone around the houses and studied all these different diets. And lo and behold, the truth is a medium amount of most foods, a moderate amount of the time. That means carbs, fats, protein. Yeah. Not excessive carbs like Brits eat. If you look at the British plate, my in-laws, my massive bit of mash, dot of meat. No, like nice bit of protein, nice bit of fatty steak, loads of green vegetables, a lower amount of carbs, but not so that you're pissing out ketones unless you're doing something extreme.
Yeah.
Okay? It's all bollocks.
Yeah.
Medium amount of food, moderate amount of the time, exercise daily. Newsflash. They've been doing that since the Vikings.
What do you do for exercise, you? What's your favourite thing?
Mixture, weights and cardio. Mixture. I get bored easy. So I'll go into the gym. I'm up to 50 minutes a day now, which is way beyond what most people want to do. Do 15 minutes a day, do some weights for 10 minutes, fucking run like a nutter on the spot for 5. It'll change your life. Third one that I've done before we move on to the hardcore shit I've started doing in the last 5 years, eat when you're hungry. It's so basic. But in England, we're programmed out of bed, shove sugary Cocoa Puffs in your mouth. Oh, look, I'm dead from diabetes at 60. No, if your body, and you're not a child, but once you're not a child, if your body is not hungry in the morning, don't fucking eat. Yeah. If you're hungry, eat. Don't. Oh, it's not 16 hours. No, just eat when you're hungry. I happen to get hungry at midday, 1 o'clock. That is doesn't depend on when I've eaten the night before. If I eat at 8 p.m., I eat at 1 p.m. the next day. Yeah. If I've eaten at midnight, I eat at 1 p.m. the next day. Yeah. That's just when I get hungry. Yeah. I don't eat before then. Yeah. That fasting, natural fasting, kills off the shit old cells that are floating around your body aging you. It's called autophagy. The cells eat themselves, they explode themselves, they kill themselves. A natural thing that doesn't cost any money that you can do straight away. Once you understand aging happens by 2 extremely simple processes. Which
you're on one now. I love it. He's on one. I love it.
I will explain aging so that every person, whatever their educational level, understands what aging is. Aging is a disease just like cancer, just like arthritis, and it should be treated, right? What it is this. Number 1, your old shit cells from the day before that should have killed off. Your body's got other things to do. So it leaves, they're called senescent is the long word. Think of them as old age cells. They're floating around your body. As you get older, you've got more of these bin bag cells floating around. They sit in your body and they, like putting rot in the kitchen, they rot other things around them. Old people have shitloads of dead fucking old junk flying around their body.
Is that why they smell like piss?
They smell like piss. So try and do things that clear out the dead cells. The second thing you get crap at is,
what do you mean by try and do things to get rid of that?
Fasting, exercise, and all the supplements. Yeah. The hardcore stuff I'm doing as well. Yeah. The other thing that aging is you copy yourself. Human beings are analog. We're not digital. So you remember on a photocopy, if I photocopied your face, then photocopied the photocopy. No photocopy. That's what
we've just listened to a podcast where you said that in the podcast.
So that's what your cells are doing. They're photocopying themselves. Yeah. Help your body to more accurately make a new copy of Paul Mort's skin cell for tomorrow, and you'll have a younger looking Paul Mort in 7 years' time than if you weren't doing that. Younger feeling. My energy is fucking insane, right? I sleep 8 to 9 hours a night like a baby. My productivity is up here. My sex drive, poor old fucking Lindsay. I spend my life with a bone. I want to shag 24/7. My strength
do you know the best?
Incredible.
Do you know the best video I've seen that you do? It was in your stories. I showed Mac it. It was where you were on holiday somewhere and you came on. You were pissed as fuck on a story and you said, Shabba Ranks has been in or something. And you went, Mr. Loverman. And then you look at the camera and you're like this. You went, Shabba. The best video I've ever seen you do.
So that's it. That's all aging is, an inability to copy. So a younger man in his 20s, he's copying his cells over more efficiently. But as soon as you pass 25, 26, less efficient copies and more bin bags. Do things that help your cells replicate and do things. Don't extend your life. Who wants to live to 100? Not me. Extend your health span. Be a 90-year-old with a boner enjoying life, then die at 91. Yeah. Don't be an 80-year-old all fucked up in a chair. You might be through bad luck, right back to the beginning. Yeah. But increase your luck. Yeah. That, diet, exercise, basics, and then a shitload of other supplements that really turbo boost these. NMN, resveratrol, curcumin, fisetin, good quality ones, third-party certified. And I'm working on a product, because all this sounds really complicated, so I'm working on a simple all-in-one product that people can take in the morning. Not your, by the way, I'm an American who takes 5,000 supplements off, not interested. Yeah. That your average lazy fucker can just take a 3-pill hit that's got the good quality biohacking supplements in, which when mixed with the lifestyle, I mean, look at me. I don't look like my mates, right? I've got no Botox, no filler.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not like fucking oil painting or anything, but I've definitely slowed down my aging.
Yeah.
I'm definitely doing better than a lot of 47-year-olds.
Yeah. And like I said, when they said that first thing, and I've said it to you before, I was like, you're fucking 47? No way.
Yeah.
And you said stuff about your hair, you told me stuff about supplements, and mate, I seen you one time. I'm sure you were on the front page of the paper, were you?
I torsoed
shirt open or something. Is that what it was?
This summer, I was a centrefold in Heat, and the caption said, "Lindsay Kane is a lucky wife." And I'm not allowed to quote it. She fucking hates it.
Bet you
are. The hair's a completely different conversation.
Yeah.
That's a really simple scientific process, but you've got to start now when you're thinning, lads.
Yeah.
The only note of caution I will say is you're going to have to temporarily drop your sperm count if you want to grow your hair back. It's impossible to do both, because if you're going to suppress your testosterone in certain regions, it's going to suppress the testosterone in sperm production.
I'm on TRT right now, actually, and they said your sperm count goes down.
It will go right down, but if you've got, it's reversible. So if you come off minoxidil, which is what I'm taking in my hair, it's a topical supplement.
Yeah.
Don't do finasteride; it's a bit too much for me.
Yeah.
Yes, my sperm count probably is lower. I'm making.
So could I do both at the same time? Could I do TRT and whatever that is?
Yeah, minoxidil. Look, double check. You speak to someone, a qualified trichologist or a doctor.
Do you get your bloods done in that then, Russell? Or
regularly? Yeah. I'm addicted to home testing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I get everything tested, my epigenetic age, my DNA.
Really?
Well, it's either bullshit or it isn't.
Yeah.
So I go to Bupa, I get my lungs measured, my mobility.
Yeah.
Things like that are the ones you can't. Some man in his 40s goes, "Well, I'm young." I was like, "Right, touch your toes then, Kevin." He's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, my belly's in the way.
Number one is, can you get up from the floor from legs crossed without using your hand? That's such an old school test.
No, I
You
can't.
sit down on the floor, cross your legs, stand up. You stop being able to do that around early 40s.
Interesting, because this TRT thing for me has been transformative.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone about this at the weekend. There's no such thing as a quick wank anymore.
No.
It takes ages.
Yeah. Well, there's always going to be negatives and messing. The problem with testosterone.
I'm amazing at shagging now.
Yeah.
Lesley sick of it. She's like, "Can you not just have a quick wank?" I'm like, "There's no quick wank anymore because it's just stallion."
Going through a lot of Sudocrem and you've had a stair lift.
I'll be going up to bed. Looks around corners.
I'll be going up to bed now, Pet. You fucking smashed us into a stair lift. No, but I should probably just say, if you're going to do anything like I've described, speak to a medical professional first. Yeah. Just double check. Particularly anything with men that messes with your testosterone, because testosterone correlates with mood, and get your bloods done. Minoxidil doesn't seem to affect the free testosterone in your body, but it does seem to affect sperm count. We don't know why. Yeah. So if you try and have a baby, basically Jason Statham's covered in pussy. Chill out is what I'm saying. Bald as fuck, covered in pussy. Don't worry about it.
You're right, you're right. What got you into all of that then, Russell? Because you're into all that. You're into all the data, aren't you? You're right into the science.
I read the double blind, what's called the double blind. So if someone goes, "Oh, vitamin C cures colds," I go to the study and I look at how many people in that study, and I look for who paid for it, and I pay to download the study. Obviously, I can't read some of it, because I don't have the medical training. Yeah. But if 10 people and 5 didn't get a cold, it's like, well, that's bullshit. Then vitamin C doesn't stop colds. Yeah. It was a gradual sort of trickle.
Are you on WebMD? Are you on PubMed and Examine.com?
All those.
They're amazing at Examine.com.
So it was a sort of trickle into it, but what really the truth behind it is, I happened to accidentally have this stand-up act, which is like, as you all know, Lee Evans on steroids. Yes. So I've got the Lee Evans physical energy mixed with, I'm playing with some quite big ideas quickly. Yeah. And as soon as I passed 30, I was like panting at the end of a routine. My fitness dropped, and I thought, I actually can't afford to age here. Where is the science on slowing down aging? And it's evolving. I do believe, maybe not in our lifetime, but in our children's lifetime, I think the science will make significant gains on health span. I don't think human beings should live longer than 100. Yeah. It's like, fuck off. But I would love to be really vital into my 80s. Yeah. And that is totally possible.
Yeah. I mean, that's fucking cool. Yeah. Russell Kane, mate, I've had a fucking great time. It's been worth a fucking wait. So thank you so much.
I've got to shake that hand just to check. Yeah, that's a strong grip. That's the TRT.
That's the Geordie handshake, bro. I love it. Russell, I'm going to tell the guys, where's the best, if someone wants to find out more about you, someone wants to learn more, see more of you, where would you say is the best place?
Well, if you go to my Instagram and Facebook, all of the free content I put out, still totally free, stand-up rants, topical humour, things like that.
Oh, and the fucking Liam Shaft.
Yeah, all the characters.
All
I do.
these characters.
Yeah,
this new American
I've
one.
got a new one this week who's an American with no medical training, which is basically who I've ironically just been for the last 15 minutes. But anyway.
What's his name?
I can't even remember. I make them up on the
I'm
spot.
the old guy.
Oh, Ted Collins. That's it.
Ted Collins is the new one, and I love the old guy.
There's the professor who gives linguistic theories and gives the origin of words like pussy hole and mandem. Anyway, go there. But if you want to come and see me live, because at the end of the day, I would love another watch.
Yeah.
It's russellkane.co.uk. Many of the gigs are sold out. I'm adding more dates. If you're a fan of Newcastle, I know you might think the seats at the top aren't good, but trust me, I cover every square inch of the stage.
They are
There's
high
about
up.
50 tickets left. Please come to the Newcastle gig. It's going to be fucking amazing.
It's on the 29th
Correct.
of October.
And Adam Collard's going to be there, ladies, so come along.
Guess
and
who can't come?
Steph McCovens.
Oh, really? Guess who can't come?
You're on TRT.
No, I'm in Dubai. However, I'm coming to Carlisle.
Oh, yeah. Now, Carlisle is one that needs a push.
It just came out, innit?
Yeah, so Carlisle, loads of spare tickets, so please come along to Carlisle and just keep looking. I've added a Belfast date. They're always sick.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
Carlisle, I'll see you guys there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Russell Kane.
My pleasure.